site still loading? There it is. Okay, what's going on, everybody? Obviously joined by a wonderful cast here. This is the Indie Breakdown crew. We had a match. We do weekly matches here on the Indie Breakdown group. So if you're watching on YouTube or just seeing us on the Facebook channel, visit the Indie Breakdown /versus group on Facebook. Where you guys are going to be seeing a bunch of indie comic book characters get it in Wednesdays and Saturdays. But more than anything, and we'll get into the introductions here in a second, we had a matchup that has stood against the rest, right? It's really like the pay-per-view main event match. Somehow, some way, we were looking at a match between Kosis from Trey Williams and Powerhouse from Lawrence Duckett. So everybody's going to introduce themselves, and we're going to find out who has what it takes to win an indie versus matchup. So, gentlemen, of course, everybody that's watching, I'm Lil Jones from Midnight Comics, and of course, one of the founders, if you would, of Indie Breakdown. And then we have these two other gentlemen. Let's introduce yourselves right quick for those that don't know.
Oh, my name is Jamil Essie. I'm a part of Concrete Comics, the writer and creative Absolver, and I'm here just to have a good time.
I'm Lonzo Starr, CEO and founder of Concrete Comics, writer of Acolyte and Zoriel, and one of the overseers of Indie Breakdown. So y'all better watch out, man.
Oh, it's about to be a wrap. The other member of Indie Breakdown is Tashi J, of course, obviously other founder of Midnight Comics. She cannot join us at the moment, but has been very vocal in the comments of this particular matchup. Again, we're talking Coasters versus Powerhouse. So, gentlemen, here we go.
Here we go.
So, one of the things that we do recommend anybody that jumps in the group is to try to have a power sheet ready to go. What your character can do, again, those power stats and abilities, because that's all we can go off of if you don't have a comic book. But we work with what we got. And so first off, we're going to start with what the information that we have from Lawrence Duckett as it relates to the character Powerhouse.
Which one is Powerhouse? Show them.
Powerhouse is this gentleman here on the right-hand side.
All right, let's get it.
So hey, quick question. How are the fan votes looking so far?
Fan votes at the moment for these two are, let's see, let's scroll down here. We are currently looking at 20 for Coaches, 7 for Powerhouse. So it's not looking good for the boy Powerhouse, but let's see why. Let's start there. Let's see why. So,
in the fan vote, for those that don't know, yes, the fan vote is important, but more for the individual, man. This is about you, getting your character out there, promoting it, letting people know who you are. Because I've seen characters like I'll just say All-Star, for instance, where he was starting off. He was a 6'7" type of guy getting votes. Now his votes is up there in 30s and 40s. People are really coming out to vote because they recognize the character, they remember him. Same with Blitz. Yep. He just came on the scene, barely got any votes, got slapped up by All-Star, right? Then he got slapped up by All-Star based on the fan votes. The fan votes had him out of there. Now look at him. Next, following week, his fan votes is crazy. People are recognizing the character. So, Indie Breakdown is doing exactly what we wanted to do, and that's create a place where you can start recognizing these characters that you don't know.
So, yeah, exactly. So with that being said, definitely y'all want to be a part of this. Talk about your character, share it with your friends, fans, and family so that you guys can get, win that fan vote. But obviously, you guys are making comic books. Y'all want these sales. Y'all want visibility. This is what it's about. So,
I want to see blood.
He wants to see blood.
I'm here for the battles.
So, let's look at this. Let's look at what we got from the creator. Lawrence Duckett says his main character Powerhouse. His powers are super strength, electrokinesis, earth, metal, magma, and crystal manipulation. The ability to absorb the metal and electricity to regenerate body parts and grow in size. He can also transmute his body into any metal he touches, also gaining its properties, magical, or physical. So it sounds impressive. It does sound impressive.
It sounds cute.
Just put it back in there. But the only issue is, and again, we kind of said this in the beginning, the worry is, right, we don't know to what degree. And we'll go through the comments here in a second to really look at that, but we don't know at what degree. So that kind of puts him at a slight kind of immediate visible disadvantage. But before we dive into what he can do based on further statements from the creator, we're going to move to Kosis. I'm not reading all of that, but we will.
That's a lot.
But the basic powers, right? We got super strength. At his base strength, Kostas is strong enough to drag a cargo ship by its anchor, able to pick up a plane and stop a runaway train, right? And we'll look at those numbers in a second as well, but we're going to go to speed. Base speed is Mach 1, and he could process thoughts at Mach 1. Interesting. Durability and endurance. Kostas is able to take ginormous attacks at point blank range, which again, personally, I want to see what exactly is ginormous attacks at point blank range. But his mental durability is just as strong, being able to withstand psychic attacks from telepathic enemies. He never loses stamina because he can fight for weeks before getting it, which kind of contradicts itself slightly, right? Because it's not that he doesn't lose stamina; he just has so much stamina that it'll take weeks before he gets tired. He does have intangibility. He can vibrate his body. Basically, think Flash in regards to phasing through stuff. Reflexes. He can make himself. Reflexes make him almost invisible when he goes all out. Okay.
That's
Ultra Instinct. I'm saying, but he doesn't go invisible. But
I guess he's trying to say his reflex is so quick. It's like he's invincible.
Invincible. It says invisible, but maybe that's going for it.
He's like a blur to people.
Yeah.
We've got supernatural leaping. Base jump is 1 kilometer and can be even more if he's running before he jumps. Enhanced lifespan because he's a Zordian, which is a demigod in his universe. So they live up to 500 years old. Accelerated healing factor. He's got kinetic energy manipulation, and last but not least, he's got some additional powers, which includes a manic state, which was explained in one of the comments that the manic state essentially is more of a transformation, right? It's not a psychological issue that he has. It's more of a transformed state that allows him to access more powers randomly, right? So there's no telling what that power is going to be, but the one consistent power, or seemingly consistent power, is he's able to mimic all the abilities of his opponent. Gentlemen.
For a duration of the manic state.
So how long does the manic state last?
That we do not have the information for, unfortunately.
Is it something like, when Wolverine goes into his
Berserker mode?
Yeah, his Berserker mode, because that don't last forever, right? It's like
no, it doesn't.
It's that instant he loses himself, right? Now with Sentry, like he just need to take his damn pills, right? And
then he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so it sounds like Kostas is time with him is just different than the normal human. But he can live up to 500 years, and his stamina can go up for a week. So what's a couple minutes to me is a couple days for him in comparison. So if we're saying Berserker mode for Wolverine is like an hour, then Kostas is what, a good week?
Well, right. If that's something that's the case, right?
Yeah.
And if Trey didn't think about that before, and he's stealing this from me, I want money up front.
Relax.
even with that, right? I think about when Goku and them be like at a power level, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they getting hit hard enough, they can get punched out of that power mode. You know what I'm saying? Bulls can get slapped out of Super Saiyan 4. They be number 3 now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Number 2. So can he get slapped up out of that? You know what I mean?
You know what? From what it seems like throughout the case of the comments and stuff, I don't believe so. Like once he enters this state, it's over. But one of the questions that I did have, and correct me if I'm wrong, as we've kind of been scrolling through this individually, but one of the things that I did see is just he can stare at the opponent and attain their powers, but that's only in the manic state. Was there a discussion at all of what does that first encounter look like, right? Hey,
he can just stare at them?
Correct. He can either look at them for a couple seconds or witness the power in action, and then it happens. And I guess I should have asked first off, based on what we just read, who is everybody going for? Kostas or Powerhouse based on the statements that we've already got?
I'm going off of the double kill. I want them both clips. You know what I'm saying? I want them both to give each other a kill.
But isn't there a rule? There's rules to the fight, though.
Yeah.
Definitely KO, but they want to try to avoid casualties as they are both heroes to our understanding. Though there has been some statement stating that he was actually brought up to be a villain, talking about Powerhouse specifically. So I don't know.
Well, if they're avoiding casualties, I think Powerhouse has the best powers in the sense of being able to contain and control and manipulate. Costa seems like a rampaging type hero, where Powerhouse will probably have more control because he can manipulate the buildings and stuff. So it's easier for him to protect and move people out the way and stuff like that. And he can take damage, obviously, because if he can become whatever he touches, or whatever metal wise or earth wise, then I'm pretty sure Costa is going to be punching through layers and layers of metal and bricks. I don't know. I go with Powerhouse on this one.
Okay. Lonzo?
I'm kind of leaning. It's interesting because you said he can just look at somebody and take their abilities, even if they're not even like using ability. He don't know what it is. He just
Correct.
But does that mean he knows how to use it? Does he know what he's doing? And does it then? Can he use his power along with that power at the same time, or does it like I mean? Does that stack of what he is type thing?
Yeah. So here's one of the statements here. It says if he's mimicking Powerhouse's powers, then that also means he would be absorbing the same thing, but at a much faster pace, while using his base power and one more power unlocked. That one is always random every manic episode. And he says he doesn't see in it. Yeah. So yes, to answer your question from the sound.
So he doesn't take all his abilities. He just takes something from them.
No. So when he's in his manic state, and you know what? That's another question that we have really quick. And again, if you're watching Trey by chance or anybody that does have a better understanding of Kostas, please chime in the comments there. But from our understanding, based on what it says on the character sheet, when Kostas has a manic episode, all of his abilities become infinitely more powerful and new abilities become unlocked. But because it's unpredictable, the new powers that are unlocked are always random. But one ability that is consistent is being able to mimic others. So my question with that being said is, does he only unlock one additional ability when he goes into a manic state? And it seems like he only gets the mimicry, or does he get mimicry and another ability on top of that? That was one of my questions that I had if he's watching. Because if he doesn't have an additional ability, then he just has the mimicry, then that statement that he says in this comment here kind of is confusing. But again, anyway,
I feel like for me,
he would just the additional ability is the mimic ability, and then he utilizes whatever abilities he's mimicking. If that makes sense.
I feel like for me, it's a hard choice. I'm kind of leaning towards Powerhouse. The one thing one thing about Trey's character, and I often feel like with these characters like that, is when you're already stacked. The mimicking thing, to me, I just don't like it, because it's like a kung fu master that mastered this art, and he not going to use his art. He going to use your art though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got all this skill, all this stuff that you do already. You can beat them probably with what you already have. You know what I mean? So the mimicking thing to me is just like a cheat. Like, let me just take that because I don't know how to defend it, so let me use it against you. You know what I mean?
And he actually just popped up in the comments. So
what's going on, Trey?
You can't, what's going on, Trey? Again, awesome bout that you guys have going on right here, man. Like, this is, there's 3 matches going on right now, but a lot of the conversation is circled around Kostas and Powerhouse. So you guys have some awesome characters for that happened. But the question that we have is, when he's in the manic state, does he get the mimic ability and another ability randomly on top of that? Or is the one random ability most likely the mimic ability? Let us know.
No, but the ability is the mimic.
So he says on the character card, all of his abilities become infinitely more powerful and new abilities become unlocked. But because the Gemini is unpredictable, the new powers that are unlocked are always random. So maybe I'm reading it wrong, but one ability that is consistent is being able to mimic. So it's mimicry and
an ability.
Okay.
So pertaining to what I said, Mr. Lessie, as a master of characters that adapt, right? How do you feel about my statement about that? Like, when a character because usually characters that be mimicking or they usually don't really have a lot in their base. They're usually like, They're usually like an empty vessel. Then they just fill
To
in.
me,
You know what I'm
to me, it just got to make sense. So
Mhm.
when you talk about task master, with him, it's always about his photographic memory. So there's science behind that. When you
Mhm.
talk about the villain in Heroes, I can never,
Okay.
I can never Skyler, whatever his name is, the villain.
Skyler. I
Yeah.
think it's Skyler.
So when you break down the science behind it, he's studying it. So in Shang Tsung, it's he got your soul. Absolver, he's copying your soul.
Right.
So if I believe that Trey Williams is a great writer, I believe even if he does mimic the ability and he doesn't even know which ability it is, let's say he does, there's no training behind it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no training, there's no knowledge, there's no breakdown of how he can copy some of the. Even if you did copy, you don't know how to use it as good as me. Just because we both have a gun, one of us is trained, another one isn't.
Yeah.
There's a difference. So I totally agree with Lonzo with that, and that's one of the reasons why I go with Powerhouse, because Powerhouse would be well trained
Okay.
It
and
seems a
with
little
his
more.
abilities.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I was saying it seems a little more easy to comprehend how he would use his abilities versus Kosis. It's hard for me to comprehend because even what he's saying is he has the mimic ability and a random ability in his manic phase, right? The random ability could be something that actually hinders him. It could be something that could be used against him. It could be something that makes him stagnant. He don't know what it is. It's just happening. So he don't know how to use it. He don't know, if it's gonna hurt his opponent. He don't know anything. It's just like a random.
The random ability could hurt him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, just an ability is an ability. He doesn't state whether it's good or bad, and he doesn't say, you know, I get this random ability and the spirit of the Zods help me
Right.
know exactly what I got. So how would you know
Yeah.
what you have? So he could be sitting on hundreds of abilities and don't even know
Mhm.
what he could or can't do. So it's almost like, you ever thought, like, if you wake up and a hammer fell in your hand and you don't feel nothing.
He's
You're
like,
gonna,
what
you
the
gonna,
hell?
yeah, you're gonna hit your hand again. You don't
Yeah.
feel nothing. But when we go jump off a building and see if we'll die, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ever? So that's how I look at it. Like, how would you know unless you're able to test it? And then
So
mid fight, you're not.
Yeah, in mid fight, how are you testing that, right? Like, how you got time to be like, yo, that didn't hurt. Hold on. Meanwhile, this dude's trying to punch you in your face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
so Trey actually just chimed in. He said the ability either helps him or it's just in his bag. He said that he mentioned that in the comments, and I think one of the things that, if to play devil's advocate with, at the very least, the mimic ability, right? He stares at him. Let's say he stares at Powerhouse. He sees, and obviously he's in the manic state or what have you. Obviously they're fighting. He's in that state. He sees it in use. I feel like at that point, that's where he'll be like, "Oh, that's how you do that. I've already seen you do it now. Now it's just a matter of me trying it." But still, to your point, Jamel, he doesn't have the same tactical aspect of it. It will not be an expertise at it. As far as I know, he has
Yeah,
to choose to mimic.
choose.
Okay. I need to if you
That's what I'm
okay.
saying.
So
As
it's not automatic
But-
me
mimic.
as the creator, me as the creator of Kosis, I would take Mimic right off the board because he's already stacked. Let's focus on what he can do, right? Before we
Yeah.
even think about Mimic, what
Let's go
can
to the
he
top.
do? Where's their durability at? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Well,
I wanna-
how much can they take?
So
That-
perfect question. We have the sheet that we use courtesy of Tavis Cardenas. It's created a power scaling
Shout out to Tavis.
sheet. Yeah, shout out to Tavis. So we're going to start from the top here. So strength for Kosis, and we're going to keep kind of going back and forth between the two sheets. For Kosis, we're looking at a 7. So if you look at based on the power scaling sheet, what have you, that means Kosis is lifting 100 tons. 100 tons or more. Easy. So this is base. Again, Lawrence Duckett, if you're in here and you can defend your characters or your character at all in regards to stats, powers, and abilities, please jump in at any moment, drop it in the chat, what have you. But back to Kostas, you're looking at an intelligence level of 4. So according to our sheet, that's gifted. So not necessarily genius, but definitely potential there. Mind you, you guys see the
Wait. So if he's at a 4, not genius, not gifted, then that stands true to what we're saying about the mimic ability, right?
Yeah.
And then so if
But-
Trey came up with these numbers, correct?
Yeah, to my knowledge, yes. I think Trey provided the numbers to Tavis, and Tavis made the sheet for him.
Okay.
Correct us if we're wrong, Tavis, Trey. Correct us if we're wrong. However, I do want to bring up is that if you guys see the pink blocks here, that indicates the abilities can be increased, and we know in the manic state, his stats are infinitely increased. So it does. Okay, correct. So Tavis confirmed that yes. Trey provides the numbers, Tavis makes the sheet. So, with that being said, yeah, we have that starting point of 7 in strength, so that's 100 tons or more, with the potential to go beyond that, which is multi-megaton range and possibly limitless strength. So he crosses that when he goes into that manic state. Intelligence, same thing. So you're talking about he becomes omniscient and beyond.
Okay, I'm sorry. I need to know. So is the mimic state a light switch? You just turn it on, turn it off?
So if I remember correctly, based on comments that I will have a difficult time finding because there's like 170 at this point, 196 at this point, that yes, the manic state can be turned on, which means yes, the mimicry ability can be also turned on as well.
So Kostas is just a behemoth. He's just a
yes.
All right. So if we're basing this, all right, I'm gonna let you finish so we get down to the nitty gritty. All right, I'm listening.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, so back to the hold on. We'll go back to the card here. If we look at speed, he sits comfortably at a 4 right now, which is speed of sound, Mach 1. And again, not to continue to preface it, but again, once he hits that manic state, you're talking about he's possessing limitless speed.
So on the sheet, he got speed at a 4. Why would
correct.
speed be at a 4 if he's Mach 1?
So according to this sheet here, yeah, that puts him at Mach 1, and then beyond that would be
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so yeah, so I'll keep flipping back and forth just so we can do the visuals and stuff there. He sits currently in regards to durability. You're looking at a 6 right there. And durability as it relates to the sheet here, superhuman, can withstand most poisons, concussive attacks, and extreme temperatures, which once in manic state, he won't be harmed physically at all. Right. So what it's looking like is he has to, Powerhouse by all means absolutely has to avoid allowing Kostas to enter. Are we saying his name right, by the way, Trey? Is it Kostas? Have we been saying it right, or are we butchering it? But which allows, like, if he allows Kostas to enter this mode, there's nothing in Powerhouse's arsenal that would allow him to damage him physically.
But why wouldn't Kostas enter the mode? If it's just a light switch, why wouldn't he enter the mode? That makes everything prior to that. Like Kostas can literally, his only ability could just be the manic state. Everything else is irrelevant at that point.
Yeah, because he don't need no specific laser beams or anything. He just can flip the switch. Okay. Now he can't be hurt. He's fast as he needs to be. He's strong as he needs to be. Right. So it's like that's why my leaning is towards Powerhouse, because it's just like the reasoning behind why he would do what he does doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe, and if I
am assuming Kostas will see the battle and hit the switch, and he automatically loses because everything, mostly he's overpowered in every stat, and then his abilities is random, which means he doesn't know if he would have to hold back to not hurt or cause any casualties or destroy anything.
Right.
So and Powerhouse, who's all natural to himself and knows his abilities, he's not necessarily holding back. And so if we're looking at it from that standpoint, Powerhouse wins all day.
Got you. Now he did bring up just now, he doesn't use it all the time when he's in manic mode. It's at his discretion. So it's not like how after a while in Bleach, right, where every time they get into a fight, Bankai, like we don't even test the strength of the opponent, or even Dragon Ball, if we go there, like automatically we're going Super Saiyan just right off rip. Like instead of like, hey, let's feel the opponent out first, right? We're just in it now. Let's go. So you're
So
saying,
Trey, I got a question.
But my thing is, I know how to fly, but yet I'm like, nah, I'm gonna catch a plane. Nah, bro.
So wait, real
I'm
quick question, Trey. Trey, what one question, man? What? Let's dive into the weaknesses, man. How can he be hurt? What hurts him? What? Because if us judges can know what hurts him, what he's, you know what I mean, whatever he don't like to go against, and then we look at Powers card, we may see something on there like, oh, he got this, that, you know what I mean, connects this and that. We can see, okay, this may hurt. So what hurts your character? Where is there anything in there that says, you know, he struggles with this, or he has a weakness to metal, or maybe androids, he has a problem with something, you know what I mean?
A glowing green rock.
Yeah.
stop.
He probably hurts
but
himself, huh?
I am also curious, because depending on the response, this might actually be an even worse matchup for Powerhouse with the kinetic energy manipulation. So once you answer Lonzo's question, if possible, I would like to know if his kinetic energy manipulation would allow him to manipulate off rip the energy that's kind of emitting off of Powerhouse or coming towards him. Because yeah, without the manic state, it's kind of dangerous as well. And actually, when Kostas has a manic episode, his life force. So never mind, he has to be in the manic state to even utilize that. So I guess I have a secondary question on that one as well.
But let's pull up Powerhouse.
I was gonna say, is it a pride thing that he doesn't just jump into the manic state off rip and it's just like, I got this, I don't need that?
Yo, but that's the thing. Prior to the manic state, he's already God level.
Yeah.
So why? That's what I'm trying to say. What's the reason why you just won't flip it on, or what would force him to need to flip it on? Like, because
Bro, I would even say, why even fight? Why fight?
But if I was supposed to pick up this comic, you would have to create an enemy so crazy
Ridiculous.
that he wouldn't be able to counter.
It'll make it interesting. The only way Kostas can even be interested in a read to me is if he's just one of those sidebar characters that just show up and help his lackey that he's training. Kostas, he cannot be the main guy. He has to be like the final boss. And you don't even beat him. You just trap him in some time loop.
That's what I'm saying. Like he literally shouldn't even be on Earth. Like there's nothing. There should be nothing on Earth that should even be a worry to him. People should be afraid to do crime because of this dude. Like he can. It's nothing. There's nothing. There's no technology. There's no weaponry. There's no Lex Luthors that can create anything to hurt this guy.
But when you look at the picture, his suit is ripped and somebody messing him up.
And I will say, just to preface here really quick, we're stuck on Kostas at the moment because we don't have a lot of information on Powerhouse. We have very limited. Now we do have statements and stuff that we'll scroll through here in a second. But there's a lot more information that we're working with Kostas. So, again, perfect opportunity for you to kind of promote and talk more about your character and stuff like that, which is good. And answer those questions for your potential future fans and just other creators that are, in here being able to see what you got going on. But yeah, no, all of these points are valid. And I guess I never did say who, based on the information we have, who I think would win. And it appears I'm going against the grain here, but based on everything that's happening, as outlandish feels like a disrespectful word in the sense, but like as intense, if you would, of a power set that this guy has, there's nothing really like to penetrate the defenses of Kostas, because once he feels the need to dive into the manic state and no strength just infinitely becomes more intense, there's nothing he can do. Unfortunately, Paige, no, there is no page.
There's no page.
There are no pages of them using their powers. So, sidebar, in the show, in the Indie Breakdown show that we do, We're on the off season right now, but only there do we say you have to have a book. However, in the Indie Breakdown versus group, if you got a character pin up, we've had people that had it on pieces of paper and napkins. You got a character in the description, you're free to rumble, right? Like just bring it there and talk about it. So no, there is no actual confirmed feats for either of these characters, which gives time to, if we have constructive feedback, like Jamel just had with Kosis, it's going to be very difficult for a story to have a character of this caliber right out the gate. I think we had an example when we were talking about like One Punch Man, where the story is the world of One Punch Man. I think you worded it right, Jamel. It's the world of the One Punch Man, and we're watching these other people try to fight these enemies, and then he comes out and he one-shots them. It's like, well, we figured that would happen, but man, how many people had to go? They had to evacuate all of the rest of the world. That's like, oh my gosh, this is a threat. He's got to come figure this out because it's hopeless without him, right? So if you write the story in a manner like that, you might be.
Well, I will go with Lonzo's point.
Okay.
I created a character, and because her level, I'm leaving her off Earth.
Come on.
I would love to see Kosis story. Mm-hmm. Like, all he does is go ahead and battle. Like, honestly, take God of War's story. That's what you do. You fight gods, create gods, and have them fight gods. Because to me, that would make the most sense. Because even your demigods could match Kosis. And now you're able to create a dope story.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Even start a story off like, I don't care if this happens to turn out to be a story, but I would take Kosis, his story start off with him in all his glory, and something happens and he gets stripped of all his power. Now he's trying to get it back. His whole story is him trying to get it back. He's getting one thing at a time. He got his strength. He ain't got the flight ability. He ain't got disability. He ain't got that. The only glimpse he sees of it is when he goes manic. But in my version of him, he wouldn't be able to control that. It would be like something triggers that. You know what I mean? To happen. But that's what I would do. That would be, to me, that would be a compelling story. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's too many stories with triggers. I think go with the werewolf method. Like at a certain time, or you see a certain thing, and boom, manic state, and whatever he learns within that period of the full moon, per se, he gains it. I think Kosis in that type of plot setting, I think it would be a real compelling story.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Well, even him going manic could be the villain of the story. Maybe he's trying to get everything he needs to do so he can learn how to control that. Because he don't want to destroy the earth. So his whole story is people trying to contain him. They're trying to kill him. They're trying to get rid of him. He's running from the government. Everything's on him because they know if he reaches this state, it's over for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect timing, Trey's response, but the response to what I was going to say to Paige is, as far as we know, Powerhouse was the only one with training initially. He was trained, essentially, Slick was trained to be a bad guy, a villain, or what have you like that, but he's kind of grown from there, so on and so forth. And then piggybacking off of that, I see Trey responded right after that. Kosis doesn't know what he is yet, or even know he's not using all of his powers. In the beginning of the series, he's not able to control it at first. He has to learn, but for the sake of this battle, he knows everything.
Now, see, though, but Trey, I think what would be fire is that, and this is something that we plan on implementing, is that at base, he doesn't know who he is. Like in your story you're telling, everything like that, that's the version you should go with. That would make this a much more interesting battle. Because now you have to figure out, as a writer and creator, you have to figure out how to beat Powerhouse with the tools you have presented us, rather than just giving them the end goal of who he's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like when I fight with Acolyte or Zoriel or any of these characters, you're getting them at who they are right now.
Doing in the
I'm
story.
Not telling you about what they become down the line at the end of their story. This is who you get. If this person loses in this battle, I'm good with it because this is who I presented. This is the card I was dealt, and this is the one I'm playing.
Right. You know what I mean? Even with me, we was going to argue with Alonzo the other day. I said Absolver I'm only putting Vanquish. Just Vanquish. I'm not adding nothing else because I think it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It's always fun. You know, I think it's a better read. It's more fun when you have adversity to your character, weaknesses or hurdles.
Struggles. Right.
Like to me, the best animes are the stories with the underdogs. I always love the underdog story. You know, but yeah, Kosis is a problem. But
yeah, he's tough. By the end of the story, he's gonna be a problem. Absolutely.
They had me go up against Colossus. I was base acolyte. That shit was ridiculous, man.
we got washed, bro. I had Kaiju.
Crazy.
That March Madness tournament was wild. We had Kaiju. I think that's Dre's character or Tavis's character. Versus Colossus, which is Michael Wynn. Awesome set of characters from everybody. But yeah, we got washed because it was just like we're staying in. We had
I was in my bag that battle.
So it's difficult, but yeah, definitely take heed to the recommendations when you decide to come out with that book. Like, yeah, just watching that kind of that progression, right? Getting it up out of the mud, if you would, of your character would definitely make for a more intriguing battle. And honestly, and Lonzo tell you, because we was talking about it last week when you dropped the character. I once I saw Powerhouse, once I saw Kosis, I was like, I want those two to fight off rip, just based on the look. They seemed more grounded than what I assumed they were more grounded than what we got. So I was like, this is going to be a more, that's why I picked Dakota City as well, like right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Right?
And for sure, I want to put that out there as a message, man. Yes, winning is important, bro, but it's not really getting your character popular. Even in a loss, you can get people to be like, yo, that character dope, though, man. I want to read up on him, man. Like, I loved how he was fighting in this battle. You know what I mean? It's not always about the winning, man. Sometimes it's about really just exposure. Like, just put your character out there.
Oh, I was going to say another thing I don't think Powerhouse has a healing factor, and that at the end of the day, between that stamina and that healing factor, if we're eliminating Manic State at the moment, the healing factor and the durability is what at the end of the day, even if we said like everything's equalized, healing factor and stamina is what's going to what I think would give Kosis the win over Powerhouse. And I think that's why, if I'm voting based on the information that we've been provided, I think Kosis would win.
Hey, Paige, I got you, man. Just send me what that idea is, man. I'm sure we can work something out. But yeah, bro, I was, speaking of Smith Nation, we was getting it in. We was getting it in with our characters, man. It was a lot. It was a lot to deal with. But at the end of the day, people bought Zoriel that day. You know what I'm saying? I got some sales off of it, because of the battle.
So just found this. Been scrolling through the comments here, trying to find some adequate intel for us to utilize here for Powerhouse, because we've been on Kosis for a while. We won't be on too much longer. It was supposed to be 25. I knew it was going to be 25. But
well, it was. I almost signed off. Like, what I mean? I didn't even want to announce it. I was just going to click off, man.
So Lawrence Duckett, again, the creator of Powerhouse, brought up that I'm telling you, you're losing the battle. Kosis is outclassed in the durability department, which this will kind of shut me up, because I did just bring up that I think the durability for Kosis would outmatch him. But basically, you're punching metal that's going to keep forming and reshaping and sliding out of your grip. The people that set this fight up have acted.
Hold on. Pause on that one part, man.
Watch
what are we doing, man?
Bro. Read it, dog. You can't
sliding out of your grip.
You can't pause up on the reading, bro.
Wait, well, hold on, man.
You know what?
Forming and reshaping. Hey, yo, Lloyd tried to breeze by that joint quick till you see me.
I did. I really did. But
listen, bro, he's reading, bro. Somebody take his badge.
Nigga says slide out of that grip, though.
Yikes. Watch yourself.
Man, we talking comic books here.
He said the people that set this fight up should have asked me first, because Powerhouse's story spans almost 200 years. And there are certain things about this character arc I want to keep on the wraps. You can keep punching this man. He's not going down. He's been beaten before, ripped in half, but every time he got back up, learned from those butt whoopings, and adapted and became obsessed with power and immortality. So I guess he's not immortal yet, but I mean, this man got ripped in half. That's Jesus. Okay. So I guess he does have a healing factor then.
He got ripped in half though, but we can't verify none of that. You know what I'm saying? We can just go off of what he's saying.
Which even if he still got knocked out from that, that's still a loss because KO or death.
Yeah, being ripped in half is crazy.
But is it though? If you're being ripped in half,
he survived.
But being ripped in half, right? The fight's over at that point. You're just on. You're healing, yes, but you're in two pieces now. Fight's over. Yo, you're done. Get out of here.
Yeah. How is that necessarily fight over?
You tell me.
So he can easily encase Kostas at the beginning in like a crazy ton of metal and earth, and it'll take a while for Kostas to punch through that. Fight should be done in the same manner then.
Not if he hits the switch.
Well, no, but right. Would that knock him out? Right? He wouldn't be incapacitated for long again.
But that doesn't mean getting ripped in half is not. It doesn't explain like if he's still dragging or walking on his two hands or his feet is still running around kicking. He doesn't say what the rip in half does to the body. It just says ripped in half. So we can't assume it's a knockout.
That's a knockout, bro.
We're dealing with we're dealing with two godly characters. So
you know what? That's absolutely fair, right? If Powerhouse, if Lawrence, if you end up in here, please, dive in a little bit more.
Yourself, man.
But if ripped in half does not knock Powerhouse out, what in the world can? Which I do remember further statements later on is that he was saying that he's able to not only encase his body in metal, but also his organs, preventing his brain from shifting and going back and forth and hitting his skull. Now, we did ask for clarification. There was at one point he didn't have a brain. There was that. And we did have a back and forth because I was just like, wait a second, I need some explanation on that. But it was further explained that as a being, he has transcended that kind of human form, if you would. But prior to that, he would still be able to encase his organs. Stop it, Lonzo.
So Powerhouse is a meat puppet then. His body's his main whatever somewhere else. Like how does the no brain works?
Well, it's kind of like one of them situations where how to explain.
Is it like Pain from Naruto where he controls people? Like
yes, actually. Yes.
Okay.
He did explain that. He did say the fact that he is able to create other bodies, right? He's in a chair, Pain Swag, somewhere else, and is able to send these avatars.
So Powerhouse is just Avatar?
Yes. In the example that we were talking about specifically in that moment in the comments, but in this case of a random encounter, who's to say? Right.
So that means technically, that means technically.
What is happening, man?
I don't listen. I picked Powerhouse to win because of the rules of the engagement.
Mm-hmm.
If we was to go like bar for bar, power for power, these guys, it's an endless struggle, bro. It's they're both going to keep coming back. I'm
very excited to see what their story's about.
I think Kostas would be the first person to kill a civilian, and Powerhouse will win.
That's done.
That's how I look at it. There's no way. Like, believe I'm trying to be nice, but I'm gonna say it. Broken characters are not good. Like,
so in the comments, I actually was rooting for Powerhouse specifically. We were talking about the nervous system. If he was able to mess with the nervous system, wouldn't he be able to knock out Powerhouse, knock out Kostas, so on and so forth? But here is the quote. One of the quotes I'm looking for. Powerhouse can transmute his body into solid, meaning organs and all. It's impossible for him to be knocked out. Also, if he's turning himself into metal, I can absorb them. My character is also faster and stronger than Kostas. Given the fact my character can move at the speed of lightning, the fight would have been over before the manic phase kicked in.
Speed of lightning? I thought that was the speed of sound.
Well, Mach 1 is speed of sound, essentially.
Yeah, but we keep tossing out that 270,000 number there. So what is the speed of sound?
How does he move if he's completely metal? Interesting question. Yeah, does that affect his mobility? Is that like what happens?
No, it's not.
What if
Bro,
does encasing himself in that metal
Yeah,
slow
is
him
he
down?
making himself a cocoon or something?
I
Like
don't
what are we talking?
imagine so. I immediately think about,
T1000 type of vibe. That's what I've
no.
envisioned. Like not like, but when T1000 like turned all metal, like that's what I mean. Like that's what I see.
Oh, okay, my bad. I was looking at the wrong thing. So yeah, no, so he is faster. Apologies there. He is faster. But yeah,
always,
I don't think it slows him down depending on this mastery of it and how strong he is to be able to carry that, right? If he's got like complete, mastery or what have you of it, and it kind of becomes like a second skin and just is on his body, then I don't imagine that it would slow him down. Because if it does, then now we have a whole other discussion about putting that weight on your organs. If you're turning your organs into metal, but your body gets slowed down, then your organs are getting affected as well. There's no way. We're gonna get out of here.
but you also got to think about Kosis being able to fuse through solid objects as well.
He did say a statement of what's Kosis gonna do when I how did he say when I vibrate inside of you? Something like that he said.
Yes, that was the exact statement actually. So yeah, that would still be a problem for Powerhouse. Like it's honestly oh, Jesus. So yeah, that also will be a problem because if he could pull a Flash, if he could do like the Flash and still just reach through any type of object and stuff like that, honestly, again, I think it reinforces why
okay,
Kosis is still the guy.
He fuses through, but also his organs are now metal as well.
Correct.
So
if there's any say good conversation, if he is able to cover himself in metal and that makes him go slower, that means it has an effect on himself, which means if he does it to his own organs, he's really going to be killing himself or hindering himself in the long run. He's kind of screwed. I'm not even gonna hold you.
I don't know, because what's to stop him from sending another body at Kosis?
That's right. Also, right. And so we don't know in this sense, right? Because what we're saying, again, random encounter. If it's a random encounter, the assumption is that the characters are there. Like Darkseid doesn't random encounter you. You know what I mean? Like Darkseid has a plan. He sends an avatar on purpose. If you're aspired to, or if you hold to there's a true form Darkseid, the whole situation. But sake of conversation, if that's the case, Darkseid never shows up with his true body. It's an avatar of himself. When he shows up, that's planned ahead of time. For him, it's not a random encounter. It's a calculated strike, right? But on the matches that we do here in the Indie Breakdown, it's a random encounter. Both these guys at the store, somebody scuffed their shoe, they going at it.
Yeah, but if Powerhouse exists only through his avatars, then it would still be a random encounter.
But yeah, if he's scared and he's only set on immortality and stuff like that. But from our understanding, that's later on in his story. He does not look later on in the story. This looks like prime Powerhouse who's still getting it in himself. Not I'm sitting on my throne, God knows where. You know what I mean? Like that, and that. So all of this depends on the creator. Again, if you're out there somewhere and you can elaborate more and give us some further insight, you're watching this after the fact and it's before 8:00, throw that in the comments and let us know what actually is going on with Powerhouse in the midst of this fight. Because yeah, that would answer a lot of questions. Is this the guy? And I feel like it is the guy because we wouldn't have had the conversation to begin with about him trying to protect his brain if it wasn't the actual guy here, at least initially.
I think this is the avatar. I just feel like both these characters are broken.
They can't be hurt. Nobody's spoken. I asked Trey, hey Trey, man, I want to know what is his weaknesses. You know, what hurts Kosis?
I mean, it doesn't have to be a weakness. It could be a setback, a draw. Maybe there's a time period. Maybe there's a mental issue. Maybe he's scared of fire. Like something.
But they both can't. If they both can't be knocked out, they basically can't be killed because they heal from fatal injuries. What are we doing?
All right, so let's ask the right question. What is the rules of engagement? We never put that up here. We never read that. What's
KO?
the rule?
Death or KO?
Random
No
encounter.
outside,
They're in Dakota City.
no outside help.
Something happens. Boom. They are face to face now. Try to
Right.
avoid. They're both heroes.
No
so
casualties, right?
They're
There's no
both
casualties.
heroes. Why would they? Right.
No casualties. So they can't go all out. They
Right.
got to fight in a way that makes sense.
Right.
So who out of the two would be able to stay within those parameters and win? Because once one person breaks one of those rules, they lose. That's what this boils down to. It doesn't even matter what they can do or don't. And I believe, personal opinion, that Kostas will be the first person to cause a casualty, even if it's to break somebody's fingernail. You've hurt another individual, you're done. You lose.
I can dig it.
Outside of that, bro, we be watching the fight forever.
Forever, then yeah, I can agree with that. In that case, in that specific scenario, then I absolutely agree. Powerhouse takes it because he's going to be a little more careful than that. As we know, if he does have avatars, if he is in a palace somewhere else, he is definitely way more cautious than what we see. Now, Tavish brought up if he suffers from manic episodes, wouldn't telepathy be a weakness? And unfortunately, no. Several reasons. Why? Because the manic situation is something they can turn on. It's an inherent part of the species that it comes from, and it doesn't necessarily work in the same way that it would affect us humans, right?
But why did he pick that name though?
That
You know what I'm saying?
Because that sounds like he's mentally insane. Now, what is who's the better fighter, hands down?
Hands down, Powerhouse is because he does have training. He does have
better
training.
technique. He's probably more strategic.
Yeah, but also to answer the second half of that question for you, Tavis, he has the ability to withstand psychic attacks based on this right here, the durability endurance section here. He's strong, being able to withstand psychic attacks from telepathic enemies, and then it goes into the never loses stamina and stuff like that. So yeah,
never loses
that question. There's no telepathy attacks that's going to work. That's going to trigger or coincide or anything in that nature with the manic state or what have you.
So he's basically a Vultramite.
Yeah.
Just a lot stronger.
Correct. And I know we're finally getting down to the wire again. This is supposed to be 25 minutes. We have doubled that. Final call-outs. Now that we've gone through all the information, has your answer changed? Mine certainly has. Has y'all's answer changed at all?
Nah, Powerhouse all day.
With the rules and everything in place, more strategic, better fighter. Both of their power sets kind of equal out each other. So it's just going to go down to strategy. Somebody's going to have to just tap out and be like, all right, you got it.
Right, we're doing
but think about it, though.
I think I'm going to go with Powerhouse.
But think about it. Kostas' stamina was only good for a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Powerhouse could have X amount of avatars but his stamina can run out. Powerhouse can have X amount of avatars, and once Kostas runs out of that stamina, Powerhouse would eventually win.
Okay, battle of attrition then.
So
unless the manic state comes in, then we have the argument of how long is that duration that lasts for.
But the manic state is still canceled by the stamina explanation. Plus, he did say for a duration.
So it's
Powerhouse is just so there's a limit. No matter how extreme and crazy it is, there's still a limit. And
you knew where I was going,
Powerhouse would just have to survive the length of time, and that is Kostas' weakness. Is how long can you stay in battle before I get tired? Powerhouse.
Okay.
So if we
stamina and training are the basis for Powerhouse's victory at this moment.
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie, man. How about we? I think I'm gonna start putting this on the new battles, but I'm gonna put like 48 hours, 24 hours. You got to get it done. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna do this eternal. They fighting the whole winter solstice. You know what I'm saying?
No. We're not doing that.
You know what I mean? Nah, it's gonna be 24 hours. He got to get home for dinner.
No outside help. Yeah,
home before dinner. You know what I'm saying?
From now on, we're gonna clarify whether or not you need to be in the battle. We're not, unless you had you prepared.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have rules in there that says no flying.
But if that's the case, you gotta limit some of these god body heroes and abilities then.
Not quite.
Because by adding that 48 hours, you just took Powerhouse only way of winning.
Hey, the rules.
Oh well. But
You know what I'm
no,
saying?
not the only way. There's still the training.
What in the
Still has
world?
more training.
Huh?
I say he still has more training, so Powerhouse would still have that leg up on that.
Okay.
That training doesn't matter. That training wouldn't matter to Colossus, who's a god. Colossus is only winning because of the rule set for the battle. But if we're talking outside the battle, Powerhouse wins because he can, if he has enough avatars to last through the stamina of Colossus.
Quick question about Powerhouse. When it comes to his powers, right? Is it only predicated to him, his physical body, or is he like controlling the ground around him? Can he like
he can manipulate
stuff?
Yeah,
so I think even that he'll be a more of an annoyance for Colossus than Colossus will be for him. Because while Colossus is trying to run and move, his feet getting stuck in the ground, this and that happening, he's throwing stuff at him while he's hitting them with energy. So Powerhouse is going to be doing a lot more, where Colossus, if I'm not mistaken, he seems more of a hands-on guy, right?
Yeah,
Colossus does energy and stuff though, right?
Yeah, Colossus seems like he depends more on what he can do, and Powerhouse seems like he depends on more of the thinking his way through his battles and stuff like that. That's what it seems like.
So I'm locking in my vote, Powerhouse.
Yeah, I'm Powerhouse on this battle.
Yeah, definitely as well. And I was just talking with Tasha. Tasha did bring that exact point up when we were talking about stamina and stuff like that a little while ago. I meant to put that up, but yeah. So I think everybody's on that same kind of wave with that, with the stamina. Now we're talking about the training, so on and so forth. So yeah.
Trey about to edit his whole card, remove that whole stamina.
No. We're locked in.
Once you do it, Trey.
Hey, we ain't gonna take money out of his pocket. Listen, if he gets you a new car based on that, he get you a thing. But in regards to consistency here, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, you still make your character, you still make your story. There's still room for these characters and stuff to grow. As it relates to these matches, please, y'all, refrain from trying to make edits to the character for the purpose of just trying to beat the next person. Like, lock in, be confident in your character, be confident in your storytelling and creativity to let us know who you think would win in indie versus matchup. I love how that came together. So, anyway, before we close out, I'd love for everyone to be sure to plug yourselves in and let people know what you do, where they can find you before we close this out.
Hey, real quick, right before we close out too, man, to double down on what you said, you know, the more y'all lock in with who your characters are, we can find better matchups for you. You know what I'm saying? If you come in base, you know, he's super strong, this, and that, we're gonna find somebody that's similar to that. And then come battle time, y'all come out here with 18,000 other powers now. Now it's like, okay, how do we do this? You know what I mean? So this once y'all character cards are made, that's what we're going off of, man. You know, that's what we're locking in on.
I think we should do a limit of like 2 to 3. Like if your character has like 10 abilities, pick 3.
Let them do what they want. But
bro, that god, these things is just
there. But if we know, so you know, just to piggyback off that, I know we're about to close, but to piggyback off of that, I thought these two were more grounded.
Yeah.
And so I was like, they fit the same weight class because, you know, as we've learned more, you know, Ralph has a Atridian. As we learn more about Atridian, I'm like, I'm not putting Soul against him. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't even put Acolyte against him because he is able to harness energies from different multiverses, timelines, dimensions. That's outside of scale. At tops, I think Soul and Acolyte might be Star Cluster at max at the moment, but they're not universal. Not at least at these points in their stories, if they ever reach that. So, like, I thought, again, if we're talking weight class, like, these guys are like, oh, gosh, I had his name just now. Like Devin from Odina, right? Like, solar, absorb, like city level, like, kind of, you know, not continent level, and not, but, like, not town level, but, like, they can, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they're fighting in New York, it could be a problem if they're just completely unleashed and stuff like that. But, like, I was like, they're right there. Man, when they started breaking down these characters, I'm like, oh my God, no, this is not what I thought at all. So yeah, the importance of knowing your character is key. It will help you it definitely help you in the long run. So we'll start. Well, since Lonzo was the last one anyway, let's pick up with you, bro. Let the people know.
Oh, I was about to tap back in with one more statement too, but I was just gonna say, if you have other versions of your character, understand that's another card. If you're gonna come to the battle with that version, then come to the version with that version. You know what I'm saying? If you going base Goku, or you going Super Saiyan Blue, you going Super Saiyan this, then come in there with that, and that's what we're focused on. This is Super. You know what I mean? This is Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Let's lock in with that, and we're only talking about that. We're not talking about what he can do at Ultra Instinct or this and that and boom, boom, boom. What can he do from base to, Super Saiyan 3? So if you do have other versions of your character, separate them from your base character.
Yes. I'm reminded of our conversation where we said we can't go back to 1980 something and say Goku will have Ultra Instinct. This is specifically for y'all that have books already.
Imagine taking season one Goku versus Jiren.
Like, no way.
What?
But if you have a book already, the hope is we keep it there. What can your character do? How are you going to think your way out of it? Right? But Goku gonna have Ultra Instinct in about 30 years. I don't want that. We don't want that. If you have something out, do it. Again, a little different if you don't have a book out. And so what Lonzo just said is fact. Like, let us know up front which version you're bringing in. But yeah, let the people know, bro. Let the people know what you got going on, so on and so forth.
Well, this is your boy Lonzo. Y'all know I've got some news coming up for Acolyte and Zoriel. 2025 is going to be an immaculate year. We got the Acolyte trade paperback coming soon. We got some new books dropping from Concrete as well that are going to be announced very soon. We're just going to have a really good closeout to this year. October's coming up. The Age of Absolver is about to be upon us, so make sure y'all ready for that, man. You know what I'm saying? And we're keeping it concrete. Always remember, the end of the year is always about the darkness, and that's where Mr. Leslie thrives at. So I'm going to let him close it out, man.
Name's Jamil Leslie, writer and creator of Absolver, soon to be CEO of Concrete Comics.
There it is.
And I'm excited. Issue 4 is getting ready to drop soon, definitely this year. I'm excited, and I also got a bunch of new things I'm working on too, and I will be introducing a lot of stuff in the near future with Concrete Comics and through myself as well. That's it.
Major.
As everybody knows, of course, my name's Lloyd Jones, Midnight Comics. My wife, Natasha, Midnight Comics. We both, of course, some of the founders of Indie Breakdown and Midnight Comics, obviously. Tasha did share a link a little while ago for Midnight Domain, where we do offer coaching consultations, and we also have a section for these Indie Breakdown stuff. So we're actually working together. Me and Lonzo were doing character breakdowns and all that. The video version, we're getting audio and stuff together. So let us know if you guys want one of those to go alongside of your character sheets. If you need a digital card, the whole nine. All that stuff we're trying to do here in the Indie Breakdown group. We also have, in regards to Midnight Comics side of things, we have the Midnight Soul collection available now that has everything with Soul in it. Soul Edition 1, 2, 3. Powers That Be, Super Team 1 and 2, all 5 of those books have Soul in it. And it all comes accompanied with every poster that Soul's been a part of. And the Gray Issue 2 is also on pre-order right now as well. We've moved away from Kickstarter to see what would happen if we tried to move everything straight to the site. It's actually been going pretty good. So if you guys want to check that out, definitely head on to midnightcomics.org. And if you sign up for the mailing list, you get a free book from us. So what's to lose there? Back to Indie Breakdown stuff real briefly before we head on out. The show is on off season right now. But when that opens up and you have a book, that's the only caveat. If you have a book, we have 10 slots for that when that opens back up, where you guys come on, we interview you, talk about your character, we do a character breakdown there as well. And then we do a creator clash where, similar to what we just did here, except all the creators come on and verbally defend their characters and challenge someone to an Indie versus matchup. So again, if all that's interesting to you guys, definitely make sure that you're following the Indie Breakdown page, and of course on everybody's mailing list, and be ready for when that season starts back up. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in for, I guess, our first Indie Breakdown, Battle Breakdown.
And creators, stop being scared, man. Come up here and talk about your character. Don't be afraid, because we're gonna question you.
Oh, we got questions.
Nitty gritty, man. Don't be afraid of that. We're gonna exploit every single loophole in your story. Come on up here, man.
So, but
that's what it is.
Oh, with all that being said,
we want to create a better universe, a better world for all.
A better world.
And it
No.
starts here at Indie Breakdown.
So, with all that being said, thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next time. I usually say midnight is coming, but this is Indie Breakdown thing. Whatever. Remember, until next time, midnight is coming. There we go.
Midnight is coming. Here he goes.